Yeah, this on all right quick on here talking about the game between the Falcons and the Panthers on Thursday night football recap and just what went down and all that good stuff. Um the game was it was it was a game, you know what I'm saying? Two teams, under 500, but they still in position to possibly win the division since this year they it was them and they got one of the worst divisions in the league. You know what I'm saying? At first, everybody thought it was going to be the NFC East, but NFC East is showing like they pretty solid this year. They one of the better divisions. You know what I'm saying this year, but this game it was it played out. Basically, it's like an extension of the first game. Carolina should have won that game. If it wasn't, it was just a bunch of miscues at the end that what I'm saying where had the guy made the kick, the game wouldn't have went into overtime, and Carolina would have got a win. You know what I'm saying on the road. It was really high scoring and all that, but this game it was just start to finish, all Carolina, and they was led behind this man on the screen, Foreman. He was pretty solid and got another 100-yard game against them. So it was both of them got like the lower tier defense, and so it could have easily been like the first game, you know what I'm saying, because most teams put up a bunch of points, but I guess Carolina was gonna put up some sort of fight because of just how they was done on Sunday. Like they looked like they ain't put up no resistance versus the Bengals, and the Bengals just pretty much did whatever to them, and so just as a pride factor, they was gonna play harder, and that's what they did. You know what I'm saying? Usually the home team on Thursday night, you kind of tilt more towards them unless the road team is, better. But usually the home team kind of shows up, because they got the energy of the crowd and whatever. But it's it was just what 10-0, 10-0 at the half. Hold on, let's see. No, it was a it was a close game. Let's just say 10-0 ain't too bad at the half. It's doable. 10-3. Dang, where the game cast at? No, let me go back. Hold up for a second. Yeah, it was 13-3 at the half, and then so that's a close game. Because like I said, they're evenly matched. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, especially defensive wise, even though probably the defense going forward, they got they just gotta add a few pieces. Definitely I think Carolina probably can get better defensive wise, faster than the Falcons. But the Falcons got some cool pieces. But I think Falcons defense need a little bit more work than Carolina. Carolina defense is kind of almost there. They got some good people in the secondary, and each year they've been drafting like top picks. That's what I'm saying, like J.C. Horn. He's somebody that's going to be a contributor. Burns, if they decide to keep him, and then damn, the dude on the line. I probably gotta look through the dude on the line. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but they solid though. You know what I'm saying? Like most games, they normally put a solid defensive effort. Even though they only won 3 games, and so you know PJ Walker, he's kind of been a game manager, and so he he's played within himself. He just make a couple of throws here, throw there. But the running game was killing it. They had 232 yards running the ball, led by Foreman with 130 on 31 carries and one touchdown. Then they had uh the wide receiver dude, what's his name? Chenault Jr. And so, he scored a touchdown. And so, hold for a second. Yeah, so yeah, the running game of Carolina, definitely, what I'm saying, is solid. It's crazy because it seemed like this year been a lot of games where people been easily getting as a team 200 plus yards running the ball. But they probably um warmed down because the Atlanta, they had a real emotional game on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like a game where they could have won. And it was a lot of highs and lows with the Chargers. So, maybe as soon as the second half came, they kind of didn't have no more gas left in the tank. So, throwing the ball. Ain't much happened with the receivers. Marshall Jr., he had one for 43, but that was it. Moore only had 29 on 6 targets and caught 4. So, the passing game really wasn't the key. It was the defense and the running game that solidified the win. Sacks, they had 5 sacks. They had 9 QB hits. Love, he had 2. And what's his name? Haynes Senior, he had 2. And so they had a collective effort defensively wise, as far as like the performance. So good win. Now they a game and a half behind uh I guess the Falcons and the Bucks. The Bucks and Atlanta, what they both got, 4 wins. Bucks got a hard game this week versus Seattle. So that's gonna be a tough one. If they can win that, then they can finally crack 500 for the season. And Carolina, they playing hard for the coach though. You know what I'm saying? J.C. Horn, he had an interception. And so yeah, they ain't quit on the coach yet. Thus far, you can see they playing a little bit harder for this coach than they did the other coach. The other coach, he ain't know what he was doing. He just, I don't know, man. He should have never been a pro guy. You know what I'm saying? If anything, he should have came in and tried to be a coordinator again, then work his way. But sometimes they just grabbing these guys from the college and then trying to throw them on an NFL team and say, yeah, just what I'm saying, make it happen. And it's a different game. You know what I'm saying? The way they offenses looked in college is because they got every player that they wanted. And you can't really do that. You can think you have that guy in the pros, but sometimes there's a lot of more hits and misses. You know what I'm saying? But Atlanta, they Mariota, he was 19 to 30, 186, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. What they've shown this year is like what the announcer said, is like they not really good as far as playing from behind. They good with if it's a 1-score game or if they're in the lead, but if they gotta throw their way back into to contention and getting the dub, like I said, aside from the Carolina game, and that was kind of like a back and forth. They pretty much is they gonna lose that game. Running the ball, it was solid, but they don't really want Mariota to be the leading rusher, which he was last night with 43 yards. Patterson, he only had 18, and Huntley had 32, and Algier had 20. So as a team they had 138, but the pass receiving that really not really making an impact in the game. And I don't know, you know, the everybody's saying all this stuff about Kyle Pitts supposed to be that dude. He one of the reasons why they went for him, because he could play on the outside, and you know what I'm saying, he can create all these mismatches. And you know, thus far you ain't seeing what people hyped him up to be. And so you know, I guess a lot of people gonna put it on the feet of the quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? But you know, even if you can make plays, and you know, on a sorry team, you're gonna be able to still put up numbers. You know, and so you know, right now, his season, and we what they what they three, no, they 4-6. I'm about to look. But thus far this season, he don't, he only got he played every single he played every single game, and he got 54 catches. No, 54 targets, on caught 25 or 313 and 2 touchdowns. He ain't really he ain't really doing nothing. I mean, he could make their offense more, you know what I'm saying, like dynamic, but it seemed like the young boy came in there, London, and he making more plays in the red zone, especially than Kyle Pitts, you know. So it's like, so far he been like somewhat of a disappointment, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? I thought they would, or at least the offense got to cater to him more. Even though the coach, he is a solid coach, and he you know, he gonna have them ready to play the next game. You know, so, but in I don't know. It's just you want to say, because I thought he was gonna be one of them guys this year. You know, definitely somebody that can make some noise. But so far he ain't really hitting it. You know what I'm saying? He ain't hitting on that. That's the truth of the matter is, you know what I'm saying? Even when they target him, he don't do shit with the ball. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe they might have maybe he was overdrafted or whatever, you know. We're gonna see how the season shake out for him, if he can, because on his pace it'd be hard to believe he can get over 1,000 again, even though he got 1,000 last year. You know, which is, that stats could be misleading, because you know, it's 17 games. You know, he, like I said, he should have had more, but you know, the offense is maybe, you know, a lot of misdirections. You know what I'm saying? They like to go with that RPO stuff, so it's not really like they're featuring the passing game a lot. So maybe that could be a reason, or his only excuse on why his numbers ain't what it is. But yeah, he's definitely been like somewhat of a disappointment, you know. And so 25-15 victory for Carolina, and yeah, you know, it's on to the next one. But you know, that division gonna be a sloppy, like they were saying, maybe a 9-8 is going to get it done. Maybe 8-9. Nobody's just going to start trailing off a bunch of W's, because they might look trashy versus the rest of the league, but against each other, they kind of, it's almost like you flip a coin, and it just depends on whose defense is going to show up. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much most of the weeks, every all the divisional games, it seemed like it was a defensive effort that got the win. Except the only exception was the Carolina and Atlanta, the first game. But usually it's more so the defense kind of been doing the thing to shut the other offense down. You know, like how Carolina did Tampa Bay a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. My quick recap kind of dragged a little bit, but that was my thoughts, trying to get them together as far as the win and what transpired yesterday. All right, thanks for listening.